Ah, there you are, Mr. Seedplot said when he spotted us. I brought one of Phoebe's plants, but I see that she already has one. Nice to see you again, Miss Frizzle. Phoebe gasped. You mean you've met Miss Frizzle before? She said. Mr. Seedplot smiled. Yes, she's a very special person. Say seeds. Seeds. Okay, now that we read the Magic School Bus Plant Seeds and you guys learned a little bit about how living things grow, we're going to talk about wildflowers. We're going to have a lesson here. It's designed for 4th graders and it's on wildflowers. Have you ever seen a wildflower before? Where have you seen a wildflower?
At my house.
At your house? Where in your house?
Outside, like by the porch.
By the porch?
Flowers?
How are they different than like flowers in a flower shop?
I don't know.
You know?
They grow naturally.
They grow naturally, that's right. Wildflowers are flowering plants that grow without humans trying to make them grow. That's why that's why they call them wildflowers. You're right, because they grow wild. Some of the places that you might see them, you already talked about, like out by the barn at your grandma's or in your yard. Where are some other places you might see wildflowers, do you think?
In the forest.
In the forest?
Really? In ditches.
In ditches, yeah. They can grow in ditches, they can grow in meadows and fields. Sometimes they're in national parks or just local parks. But we're going to be looking at some pictures of wildflowers, and the wildflowers that I'm going to show you, I took the pictures at Gull Woods, and that's right here in Archbold, Ohio. Have you ever been there? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to Oak Openings in Toledo?
Yeah. I don't remember it, but yeah.
If you've been there, you might have seen wildflowers there too. Okay, but first I want to see what you already know about wildflowers, so I got a quiz for you. It's true or false, so it's not that hard. Are you ready? Okay, true or false? Some weeds are wildflowers.
True.
That's right, it's true. It's important to remember that one person's weed, one is another person's wildflower. You ever seen flowers like this before? They look a little different now, don't they? What do you think that is?
A dandelion?
A dandelion. A dandelion, a lot of people think that they're weeds, but actually a dandelion is a wildflower too. Okay, true or false? All wildflowers in Ohio were always here.
False.
That's correct. Some of them were brought over here even from Europe. There's wildflowers all over the United States, and some of them they even brought over from Europe. And some of them they didn't even bring them on purpose. They were bringing over other things, and they got some of the pollen on like their feed sacks, and so they ended up bringing over some of the wildflowers that they didn't even mean to. What?
True.
Yeah, that was true. What I was just telling you was true, but that wasn't a question. But it's true. All right. Some wildflowers will... Okay, true or false? Some wildflowers will grow in one area and not in another.
True.
Yep, it's true. Remember how I told you that I went to Gull's Woods, and then you said you've been to Oak Openings too? There's wildflowers at Gull's Woods that are not at Oak Openings. And there's wildflowers at Oak Openings that don't grow at Gull Woods. Alright, your next one. Ready? Most wildflowers have the same set of body parts.
False. True.
You don't agree on this one. The answer is true. They may look different. They maybe have different colors. Their leaves may be different. The shape of their leaves may be different, but they have the same body parts. And you'll see I'm going to give you this workbook on wildflowers. And if you look on page 5, you will see the parts of the wildflower. And so when you're trying to identify wildflowers, those are some of the things you will look at. The parts like the flower, the stem, the leaves, the roots. Alright. True or false? And I just told you this, so you better know it. The shape of the leaf and the color of the flower can help you identify it.
True.
That's true. Because sometimes they start to look alike, especially when there's lots of them. True or false? Wildflowers do not have scent.
False. Well,
That's correct.
some do
That's correct. Some of them do and some of them don't. This is the hardest question of the quiz. Are you ready?
Yeah.
True or false? You already knew all of this about wildflowers.
False.
False. Well, good. That means you've learned something already. All right. Are you ready to try and identify some wildflowers?
Sure.
Okay, you're going to have to do this together as a team. Or else if you just want to let him, or if you just want to let him.
Yeah. I'm a generous person, so I'll let him go.
That's kind of the
Thanks.
thing.
You're welcome, buddy.
All right.
Carson.
I'm going to give you these cards. And on the cards, you'll see the picture of the wildflower and the name of it. And as I go through some of the wildflowers, you have to, I don't have the name written on it, so you're going to have to identify. Yep, you're going to have to tell me which one it is.
Okay.
But first, there's something really important that we need to talk about wildflowers.
What?
When you go out in the park or if you're in the
Don't
forest, you're right, don't pick them. That's what I was just going to tell you. Do you know why?
They're poison. No.
Say it louder, I can't hear you.
They're poison.
They're poisonous? Actually, some of them are, but there's... What?
It's illegal.
You're right, it's illegal. If you go out in the park, do not pick wildflowers because it is illegal. Why is it illegal? Because it's seeds. The wildflower seeds, they need to spread in order for the wildflowers to survive. The second reason that you should not pick them is because other animals need the wildflowers for food and cover. When we talked about the dandelion, did you know that birds eat the seeds inside the dandelions? So we think they're weeds and we kill them all, and there's animals that actually eat the seeds. The third reason you shouldn't pick them is that if you pick them, then other people cannot enjoy them. Those wildflower nuts, those bird freaks like your mother, they can't enjoy them if you pick them. And the fourth reason you should not pick them is because most wildflowers will die when you move them. I picked these wildflowers in the middle of the afternoon, like late afternoon, and by the night, this is what they looked like already. This is what will happen if you pick wildflowers. They will just shrivel up.
Are the cops going to come and arrest you because it's illegal?
Actually, you know, that's a good question. If you are in a state park or a national park, you can get arrested for picking wildflowers. You can actually get a fine. It's because it's illegal. It's under the law. They're protected under the law. So it's not just a bad idea. It's illegal. You can get in trouble with the law for picking them.
How come you picked them?
Well, I wasn't in a park, and I wasn't in like a private forest, and I wasn't in a national forest. And those, if they're in your own yard or in somebody's yard that you know and they're weeds, it's different. And dandelions are sort of overgrown. People kill them and pick dandelions all the time. But if it would have been a special wildflower or an endangered wildflower and it was growing in my yard, I would not have picked it. Okay. Here we go. You're getting ready. You ready to identify? Okay, our first wildflower, I'll hold it down there so you can see it, looks like this. This flower is known to be a sure sign of spring. If you're out and about and you see this flower, you'll know that spring is coming or spring is here. It has delicate pink to white flowers, and then there's deeper purple lines inside it. Do you see them? This flower, hang on, it's also called a fairy spud. You know why it's called a fairy spud? Because the Native Americans, this flower, they used to eat it. The tube part, they would eat they used to eat a lot of plants and stuff, but this is one of them they would eat. And the important thing to know about this flower is that it only opens in the sunlight. If the sun is not shining, it closes up and it won't look like this. Which one do you think it is?
The spring beauty.
The spring beauty, you're right. How did you know?
Because I could tell when you were like saying spring, and I saw that one, and I figured it's spring beauty.
You did it by the title. To show you the picture, you can look at the picture, and you'll see that the leaves with this flower are almost fern-like. They're like a fern, and this one often is found with the spring beauty. Look closely. Remember, some of the things you can look at are the leaves, the shape of the flower, the petals.
Dutchman's breeches?
Good job, that is. That's a Dutchman's breeches. When I was out hiking, I didn't see very many of these. These sometimes are hard to find. Alright, this next one. Here's a clue. It has 3 petals, 3 sepals, and 3 leaves.
The trillium?
The trillium, that's right. Do you know what makes this flower so special?
It's Ohio's national wildflower.
It's Ohio state flower. How did you know that?
Because I read it in a book.
You read it in a book. In your little packet that I gave you, there's pictures of all the wildflowers. In Ohio, I give you a picture of all the wildflowers, but you'll see on page 5, it tells you right in the state code when they adopted the trillium as Ohio's state wildflower. Page 6, yeah, here I think it says page 6, not 5. So, and then on the page after that, there's one you can color yourself if you remember what it looks like. Okay, the next one. This one has like maroonish green petals, and the flowers are not stalked. They come right up the middle.
Toadshade trillium?
Toadshade trillium, you're right. It's related to this one. There's 15 kinds of trillium species, and this is just another kind of trillium. I like this one. It's a yellow flower. It sometimes has brown markings with speckled leaves. It's one of my favorites. It's getting easier, isn't it?
Yellow trout lily?
Yellow trout lily. That's what that is. Good job. Alright, we'll give you a chance at the yellow too. This one you'll see it has yellow, shiny butter yellow petals, and sometimes they're white.
Buttercup?
Yep, it's the buttercup. Farmers, you'll see these in fields, so farmers sometimes think that they're pests because buttercups will grow everywhere. There's something important to remember, especially you said your grandma and grandpa live on a farm, that buttercups, you should not touch them because the plant, even the leaves and the petals, can irritate your skin and it can even give you blisters. So if you see these out in the field or at your grandma's house, don't touch them. There's 40 different kinds of buttercups. Buttercups are hard to identify.
You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. Run away, kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away, go find a lover. Run away somewhere all bright and new, 'cause I have seen more